Hi, I'm Dawn Birch-James, known here as the Artibiz teacher. My channel is for artists, makers and crafters who sell their work or who want to sell their work. I give tips, advice, and I sometimes give anecdotes and perspectives and tell stories. I'm fiercely realistic and practical, but sometimes I do like to give psychological insights. There is new content on my channel every week, so if you like my content, then why not subscribe to my channel and also hit that notification bell. If you do that, then you will be informed right in your inbox as to when I upload new content. So today I'm going to tell you the 7 most important considerations when pricing your art and craft. And I'm going to bust some of those myths. So stay tuned so we can get right to it. Hi, thanks for staying tuned. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to price your art and craft, and I'm going to tell you the 7 most important considerations when you do that. I'm also going to tell you what it's absolutely not about. At the end of the day, if you want to make even a meagre living out of this, then I suggest you listen up. And also, I will suggest to you, if you don't think any of this applies to you, then really, I don't think you're really serious about selling your work in a more consistent way. At the end of the day also, please bear in mind that some of these factors are external. So if you're not going to be resilient about this, if you're going to get all bitter and twisted that you're not selling your work, or you've not sold your work for a certain price, then this is just not for you. I mean, we all get like that sometimes, but you really do need to consider these external factors and think about how you're going to negotiate them. So this is what it's about. It's about you negotiating these 7 factors that I'm going to be talking about. So factor number 1, how do you price your work? You've got to know what the unit cost of the thing that you have created is. What do I mean by a unit cost? Well, what did it cost you in materials and anything else that you used or spent to actually get to that unit cost, the cost of the item. Now that will show you how serious you are about making money from this, or how much commitment you want, or what you're just going to ignore. Number 2, what's your target market? So if you're selling stuff at a local fete, school fete, or a local little market, that's different from you selling from a place that is frequented by very affluent people. The two might be the same actually, depending on where you live. But you must think about your target market. So that's number 2. Number 3, what is the quality of your work? Not just the quality of it, but what is the desirability of your work? That is, quality and desirability can overlap. Not always. Okay, so what is the quality of your work? What is the desirability of your work? When I talk about desirability, what is the resonance with an audience? So the resonance can be in terms of aesthetic, the resonance can be in terms of social relevance of the moment. So quality and desirability. I would suggest that quality is not just about technique and prowess, that quality is about what is actually communicated through the piece, through the artwork, or what lifestyle is communicated to your audience. Number 4, look around. What are other people charging for their work? And it's no good comparing yourself to somebody who's been selling for years. It's no good comparing your work to somebody who's, quite frankly, much better than you. All right, so look around, get a feel for what people are charging and be realistic about your... Number 4, what are other people pricing their work at? Number 5, what's your selling history? So when you first come onto the market, it's really, really bold if you're going to say, oh yes, this piece of work, it's, you know, a big piece of work, it's worth £1,500. It doesn't work like that. Mostly, very, 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 very rarely it does, but mostly not. All right, so what is your selling history? Who have you sold to? If it's just family and friends, you've not really hit the pricing structures. So once you sell your first piece to somebody who's not a member of your family or a friend, then you think, right, I've sold it for that. What is your selling history? You have got to build up a selling history. Number 6, and this is the one that artists really struggle with, it's what is the value of your brand, your narrative? What is the value added? And that's the bit that makes the money. Okay, so, you know, your brand or your narrative can be about anything. It can be the quality of the work, it can be where you live, what your workshop's like, what your personal circumstances, the subject matter. It can be anything, all right? And that's really clever. And that often builds up over time. It's not about, you know, the flash in the pan people, because they'll come and go. It's about developing your narrative, okay? And what's the value added of that? How much do people want a piece of you? And that will affect the price of your work. You know it, and I know it. So let's stop pretending. The last thing, number 7, is the size of your work. And I put that last because once you've established a pricing structure, once you've got a selling history, once you've started to put your narrative out there and people are starting to respond to it, once you've honed your craft and you've got quality of work, once you've decided where your target market is, once you know exactly what things are costing you, there'll be another upload about that, or I'll do a tutorial about that, about how you get to your unit cost. That's an interesting one that artists and makers are not very used to doing, okay, but you have to do it. Every business person has to have unit costs, okay. So once you've done all that, then you can say, right, that's a big painting, that's a small painting, that's a big sculpture, this is a small sculpture, and you price accordingly. And I put the size of the work completely last because you kind of, it's always relevant, but it becomes even more relevant, you know, once you've got your pricing sorted out. Then look at the size of the work, and then of course you price accordingly. What is pricing your work absolutely not about? Okay, well, the first thing is it's not about time taken. Now that will shock some of you. People don't give a damn. People do not give a damn about how long you spent doing that if they're actually purchasing it. They'll talk to you about it. They'll say, oh, that must have taken you a long time to do. But it's not a factor, not one of the primary factors in the first instance to how you price your work. Now that might come as a great shock. Time taken, not relevant. Number 2, how you are personally attached to your work, absolutely irrelevant. All right, it's not about that. And that links into number 3. What is it not about? It's not about your ego. All right, so the way you get attached to your work and the way that this embodies who you are and what you want to say and how you are important and how that needs to be said to these people and how, you know, it's not about your ego. Now, that's different from saying, oh, you've sold something, you feel really good about it. that's about your ego, but actual pricing your work and actually doing business with your work is not about your ego. Or putting a price on something because you think you're worth it with absolutely no reference to anything that I've just explained is not relevant if you want to do this. Okay, so please bear that in mind, because I've come across that one repeatedly. Hey, but listen up. Time taken, ego, attachment to your work does come into play when you have got everything else sorted out, when you built up your brand, you built up your narrative, and it becomes part of it. People will then start to give a toss about your ego and the time you've taken. That becomes part of your narrative, but forget it to start with. You think, oh, it took me all week to do that, and so therefore I need to ask £5,000 for it. No, it doesn't work like that. And so that's it. If you have been interested by this content and you want to explore more what I've been talking about and go into more depth, then I would love you to join me for my Zoom tutorial, which is going to happen this Friday the 8th of May, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. It's on Eventbrite and it's only £5. Now I'm getting like you. I should be asking much more than that. But for you, you get all this for free, so don't complain, right? It's £5, and you will also have the opportunity to ask me direct questions about you and your work, so you can be as egotistical as you want. Okay? So if you are interested in that tutorial, there is a link in the description to this upload. Also, you can search Dawn Birch-James, how to price your art and craft on Eventbrite, and you should find that particular tutorial. So thank you for listening to my little plug, and I hope to see you signing up for that tutorial. I've already had people signing up, which I'm really excited about, and I will see you next week for our next upload. See you soon.